So I bought this WEN 2350W inverter generator. And since I live at over 6,600 feet above sea level, I thought that I would go ahead and put the high altitude conversion kit into the generator. So let's see how this goes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to gain access to the carburetor. Okay, so after pulling off the cover from the inverter generator, I found the carburetor, which is right here. Looking at the pieces that came with the kit, it looks like all I have to do is pull the bottom off the carburetor and replace the jet. Unfortunately, the manual says that I'm supposed to refer to the instructions that come with the kit. However, there are no instructions that come with the kit. So we're kind of left to figure out how to do this on our own. So I did run the carburetor dry. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what's going to happen with this carburetor. So this is the kit that comes in the mail. It is part number 56235I-HA69. I bought the high altitude kit for 6,000 to 9,800 feet because I live in Colorado Springs, which is very high. See if I can get this where you can see it. It comes with a gasket that is about the size of the float bowl, so I'm assuming that that's the gasket for the float bowl. It comes with a bolt, and it looks a lot like the bolt that goes underneath the float bowl. It comes with a jet, tiny little thing, and it comes with a washer that looks like it's about the size that fits over this bolt, so I'm sure that's where that goes. Okay, according to the instructions the instructions for draining the fuel, I'm supposed to open up this little valve right here. So I will go ahead and do that. So it appears this bad boy takes a 7mm socket, and I will try to go ahead and unscrew it. And yes, more gasoline is coming out as I unscrew it. Not much more. So I got me a 10mm wrench, and I'll take the float bowl off the carburetor. Just in case I get more leakage out of the carburetor, I'm going to go ahead and put a rag under here. Okay, and here's the screw. It looks just like the one that came with the kit. So I don't right now see any reason that I'm going to have to use the new one. Okay, there's my float ball that I've just taken off. Now it looks like in order to get at it, I'm going to have to remove the, looks like this is the air filter. It is. Alright. The old jet is sitting right here. You can see it kind of if I lift up the float. So let me go get the screwdriver. Okay, so if I lift the float, then I can access the screw to unscrew the jet. And there is the old low altitude jet. Here's the new jet. So you can't hardly see it. It's really tiny. And it just will screw back in the same hole the old one came out of. Okay, getting it started has taken me several tries, but I finally did it, and now I'm screwing it in. All right. So the float doesn't look like it has any particular direction that it needs to go. So I'm going to try to put it in the same direction that it was when I took it out. And I'm going to go ahead and use the same gasket that was in there since the generator's like brand new. It's only been used once. So it goes up there like that. So as you can see, this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. But the screw is started. And I'll just kind of put the float up in there. Finish tightening up the screw that holds the float ball on. Let me go ahead and twist it so I can get the drain valve facing more or less to the front. just tighten it up. Okay. Notice that I did this without removing the gas from the gas tank because it does have a fuel shutoff valve that's shut off. So the drain tube will go back. I'll put the drain screw back in. Put the air filter back in. And it looks like it's ready to go. So before I put the cover back on, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to try it and make sure it works and doesn't leak. Okay, so I've got it away from the house, out of the garage and into the driveway. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I don't have any signs of fuel leaking before I start it up. And everything looks tight as a drum. Everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and try starting it.
Electricity is really just organized lightning. George Carlin.
Good morning, viewers. We recently purchased a WEN 2000 watt inverter generator for our 2200 326 sailboat. Today's project entails us disassembling that and getting it set up for the marine environment. Most of the time these are built just for your household chores or their construction site, and they're not really set up to be taken on a sailboat. So today we're going to go through the disassembly, and we're going to use Bow Shield T9 to cover the electrical parts and the parts that cannot be painted. We also have a basic Rust-Oleum spray paint for all the screws and the hardware. And then we also have the high heat paint for the muffler. Today's project just only requires 3 tools, so you got a 10mm wrench, 8mm, and a Phillips head screwdriver. And that's okay, all. So the first thing we'll do is underneath the rubber gasket on this generator, we have 1 Phillips head screw, so we'll go ahead and remove that. And that's going to be the only one that's kind of hidden. The rest of them, as you can see on the face, are easily seen and easily removed. There are 2 screws hidden behind here for the pull start. We have 1 10mm bolt on the cover. Once that's removed, you can pop it out. Now here where this comes out, the base for this just is removed, slides back in along with the pull handle. That way you can remove the cover completely. And that cover's removed. There are a couple more bolts that we'll go ahead and remove on this side. Flip it around. We have a couple screws on this side as well. Cover comes off on that side. While I do have this open, you can see here is the oil filler port for this. You have your air filter here. The throttle control is up on this side. Go ahead and spin it to the rear. The muffler is here, and that's one of the main parts on this that it becomes rusted. As you see, that comes off, and it's got basically just sound deadening foam on the back there. And on the control panel here, we have several more screws, and then this will open up access to the actual circuit boards behind it. Alright, so now once we got the screws out, you can see how these sides will just kind of come off. And it opens up the entire generator. So the fuel tank's up on top. We have the muffler right here. We'll go ahead and remove these other screws and then we can take that plate off. Alright, now that we have access to the muffler, you can see where it exits the engine right here. It goes up into the muffler, then the exhaust port is there. So we'll go ahead and pull these bolts off as well. And then there's your muffler. There is a small gasket on there, so just make sure that that's not damaged or lost during the process. We have the muffler removed. We're going to go ahead and use the high temperature paint that's supposed to resist heat up to 1200 degrees. Hopefully our boat will never get that hot. If it does, I'm sure we'll have other issues in our generator. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to spray paint all the hardware as well. That way none of these screws or bolts go into red rust. We're just using basic Rust-Oleum spray paint here, as there's no need to worry about the high heat anywhere except for the muffler. Okay, so we went ahead and removed the screws for the face plate. We're going to go ahead and pull that down. And you can kind of see some of the electrical connectors are set up and sealed pretty well. But we're going to go ahead and spray everything else. That way, hopefully, the rest of the pieces here do not rust with the metal. And again, we're using a Bow Shield product. There are similar products that provide waterproof and lubrication you can choose from. Alright. I had painted all the parts and pieces on the inside, and now the generator is reassembled. So we're going to go ahead and get it running and then try to power our sander that we bought. Alright, seems everything's running pretty good, so we'll go ahead and shut the generator off. You can kind of hear how loud it is. that's all it is to it. Now our generator is ready to take on our sailboat. We hope you enjoyed this week's project. Next time we'll tackle replacing the main halyard, the jib halyard, and then reinstalling the sails on our boat. We look forward to seeing you then.
I'm ready to see, I'm ready to be the world in you.
Well, we have some very good news today. We received a WEN replacement fuel cap for WEN generators. I think it's a 56200i and 205i. And instead of ordering the entire generator just to test the fuel cap, we just ordered a replacement fuel cap. So right now we have the Power Horse 2000 generator from Northern Tools. This was the original generator that I used when I started developing the whole MERG system. So we know that the MERG's cap fits this generator. So there's the OEM, original equipment manufacturer's cap. There is the MERG's cap that screws right on there and tightens up real nicely. Gives us a fuel tight seal because of that centering gasket disc. And this is the WEN gasket, and I think you'll see, I think it's identical to the Power Horse fuel cap, and it just screws right on there and tightens right down. So that means we've got another compatible line of inverter generators for our MERG system, which makes me very happy.
Okay, so here's the WEN 2000 watt generator. It's got a couple of 120 volt outlets here. It's got connection to parallel, which can go to any other brand generator. And it's got an eco mode to be able to change the output depending on the load. And then it's got a couple of, it's got a 12 volt out here for charging the battery, or a USB jack there. So to start it, all you have to do is put it on choke. Fill it up with oil and gas, and it actually just takes a nice gentle pull. Times a couple of them. It's going. There it is, full throttle.
Week taking down more wood, but brought more tools to the fight. Got the wood splitter, field generator, the hammer, the axe, chainsaw, fuel, extension cords. Took down quite a few of these today, and you can see the casualties right there. Just taking down that firewood. It's about 24 degrees, 25 degrees when we started. And that's where we're at right now. Just taking all that back to the home front. That should last about a week. And there's plenty more hanging out there. So this is great stuff.
Well, I put fuel in, oil, one pull, it started right up. It's idled down now, and it's very, very quiet. I just turned off eco mode, it's idled up. It still sounds pretty quiet.
I think by the time I put it in the shed, you won't even know it's running.
All right, so it hasn't been started in a month. We got the fuel on. Pull the choke out. First shot. Super quiet. Man, is it always